With me today is Ailín of Pavel Chekov.
Thanks for having me.
I wanted to say, or ask, even though I already know firsthand from being in the band, but for everybody that doesn't know, could you go over some of the stuff as far as beginnings of Pavel and
Yeah, so
Inception?
Pavel Chekov, it's a power violence band from Dallas, Texas. Started in 2014 and then kind of went on hiatus around 2017, 2018. And now we are back.
Nice.
Yeah, originally a 4-piece, then a 3-piece, and then now a 4-piece again.
So this weekend, part of the reason why I wanted to hit you up and do this is because Pavel's playing a really sick-ass festival going on at Growl Records.
Texas Grind Fest. It's going to be really sick. Morgue Breath is coming out. Shitbrains is coming out. A lot of great bands.
Yeah. Do you all know what time the Pavel set is?
I don't know yet. I imagine it's like middle of the sort of fest.
Nice.
Would be my guess.
I kind of want to get maybe an interview with the Puppy Mill guys too, like maybe there and kind of see what's up with that. Have you seen Puppy Mill yet?
I just saw them last weekend for the first time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I saw them at Rubber Gloves up in Denton. It was very good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think it was their first show with Imran on bass, which was cool.
Oh, Imran's playing bass?
Yeah, Imran's playing bass.
Oh, sick. It's even more exciting. I used to live with Imran, so.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. he's a very cool roommate.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He's a super nice guy.
Yeah, he's very sage-like. So, getting into heavy music and everything, I know that there, with a lot of like the imagery and stuff, I guess my question is, how much does politics play into Pavel back then versus now? Are you still?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
When the band first started, it definitely was not super political, as you know. Like, it was kind of just us goofing around, playing funny fastcore type power violence. We really loved Charles Bronson and stuff like that. And then around 2016, when we transitioned to being a 3-piece, is when it became a much more political band. Mm-hmm. And the politics were always sort of there from the start. There was always a bit of that filtered in, because the sort of idea of the band was interested in the more like youthful aspects of power violence as well as youth crew hardcore.
Yeah.
And that combined with the sort of utopian ideas of Star Trek, the character Pavel Chekov, and then my interest in Soviet culture as well, being filtered through the character Pavel Chekov, kind of.
Hell yeah. Because I've heard people say before, that I guess like all art is political, and sometimes like I know for myself, whenever I'm working on something, I'm kind of at war with that. I mean, would you agree with that all art is political down to like a certain base?
I would say, yeah. Ever since politics became aestheticized, then aesthetics have been politicized, and there's no escaping it. I don't think at this point. That's sort of the reality we live in at this point. Art, even if it's not intended to be political, will contain a political message. Mm-hmm. Whether or not you choose to operate on that basis, I think, is where people's disagreement with it comes.
So, tell me about Canada, because I know that you moved there probably like 2016, or?
Yeah, so at the very end of 2016, I moved to British Columbia in Canada, which is, I would argue, is the Canadian capital of grindcore as a province. It is like grindcore central out there. It's amazing. But yeah, I moved there, it's a little over 8 years ago now. I just moved back to the States, not by my own decision, but because the immigration situation in Canada is getting a little more strict, and they're trying to get rid of people just like the US is doing, but they're doing it a little less obviously up there than they are down here.
It does seem to be that there's like a ripple effect, within, especially when America does something, it kind of tends to show up everywhere else,
Yeah, and Canada's always sort of doing, what America does, but a few years later. Like, Harper was Canada's Bush a few years after Bush, and then Trudeau was their Obama, and that sort of stuff. Mulroney would be their Reagan.
They're always like 10 years late or 5 years behind or something.
Yeah, 5 to 10 years late, except for Quebec, which just doesn't leave the 90s.
Right.
So
Quebec sounds cool.
It actually is a pretty great province.
Nice. Well, that's what's up. Is there a reason why you think that it being like a grind capital, like as far as?
Yeah, so BC, I think it's just kind of in the water there. It's a little more remote, and so the grindcore is a little more raw, and people like that raw sort of stuff. And I think it ties into like, outdoors stuff is very popular. Some people doing more extreme stuff like sports and whatnot, and then the music being more popular, like Victoria or the grindcore music, I should say, being more popular maybe ties into that with that extremity.
At first I thought it was the acronyms BC, like maybe band camp.
Yeah.
People are like, wow, it's kind of, they see a correlation there.
But yeah, I think it's like maybe just a little more popular there. It has more of a history in smaller places. Like Victoria has a history of good grindcore and good fast hardcore, like the Neos, and then going into like p.t.b.r.u.i.s.e.r, Crust Grind, or p.t.b.r.u.i.s.e.r, which is a great big band.
Yeah, they're awesome.
From Victoria. And while living in Victoria in particular, there was so much grind happening, all kinds of like little groups and people who played in other bands like p.t.b.r.u.i.s.e.r or p.t.b.r.u.i.s.e.r. All kinds of groups from stuff like Con Artist and Abbreviated to Borborygnic Leakage, which is a current new young group. And then there's a bunch of mainland bands as well. Squamish is kind of like the old city for fast music. There's great bands from there, like Expression of Pain or a current group, Hacked Apart.
Okay, sick. When I found that I was getting into more like abrasive subgenres of heavy music, sometimes I'd be surprised what certain circles knew and didn't know. And I guess like an example would be the band Assuk, because they're a really like metallic sounding grindcore band.
Yeah, you'd think that most people, if they listen to like Morbid Angel, they'd probably really be into Assuk as well.
Yeah. Maybe power violence and grindcore kind of was more relevant towards like the late 90s or mid 90s even.
Yeah, it's interesting. But yeah, I mean like the first big wave power violence bands, and I guess at that time you couldn't really call it a very big wave. But you had like Infest and Neanderthal, Man is the Bastard, and then you had bands like Assuk starting in the late 80s and then really honing their sound in the mid to late 90s with Misery Index and Anti-Capital.
Oh, totally, great albums.
Yeah, so I do think you're right, but it's weird because I think the scene has always been kind of just ebbs and flows based off where it's working at its highest capacity regionally. So when I first got into something like Infest or Crossed Out at the same time, that's when I found out about Despise You, which would have been probably like 2013 for me.
Hell yeah.
Honestly. Feels a bit late, but Texas is a bit of a, as you know, cultural wasteland.
It is.
Finding out about cool shit is hard here.
Yeah. I agree to that sentiment 100%. And it almost seems every passing day, not to be, pessimistic or anything, but definitely feel cemented,
Yeah, it seems like it's getting more and more of a wasteland, less and less of a cool place.
Yeah.
Not to say that there isn't cool shit happening. The earlier band you mentioned, Puppy Mill, when I first heard about them, and the fact that they also do a bunch of zines and art as well, I was, very stoked to hear about a young group doing cool shit.
Keeping shit alive, that's always cool to see. So
absolutely.
Because I know that Pavel's also doing a tour coming up.
Yes.
Do you want to plug that?
Yeah, so good time to mention, talking about Canada just a minute ago. We are doing a tour with Endless Swarm from Scotland and Canada. We put out a split together almost a decade ago. It's about 9 years, I think, at this point. But now we're doing a tour together up in Canada. We're starting on the 18th of September in Victoria and ending on the 2nd of October in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be sick. It's the first tour that we've done since 2016 or 2017 actually. Since 2017, so it's been a really long time. Kind of didn't expect to be doing it, but we played Vesta Grande 2 last year, and Endless Swarm offered to us to go do a tour, and we said, hey, let's get back together and do some fun stuff.
It's kind of one of the things when proposed with a question, it's like, you're not going to say no.
No, exactly. It's like, well, Endless Swarm asked if I want to go on tour in Canada. So yes, I will go on tour in Canada.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, they're an amazing band. They just dropped their 3rd LP, The Body Hammer, which is available for order now on Bandcamp.
Nice.
Check that out. They've got a bunch of cool new full color merch and stuff as well.
Okay, sick.
Really great band.
Congrats on that. I was going to ask, this is just talking shop kind of question. What's your take on lathe cut vinyl?
I mean, like,
not a fan?
I just think the collector stuff is kind of out of hand. The colored records, it isn't what music is about to me. That feeds into the whole side of music that I'm against, and what Pavel is kind of against in a lot of respects, which is that like sort of almost like fast fashion. Like, we're fast music, but we're not fast music, and we don't just produce shit just to produce shit and sell it. That's why we don't really sell much t-shirts online or anything. Also, if you ordered a shirt from us last summer, those are coming. I'm sorry it's been delayed so long.
Worth the wait, though.
Yeah, they're made. It's been an ordeal getting them sent out. I'm still working on that. I'm sorry. But we are against that sort of idea of just, producing a bunch of different variants just to sell more product.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of, it's not a left-wing idea.
No. Heavy music is never going to be like truly, something, an income that people could like live off of. But
Right.
it should be at least to the point to where it can, like keep funding itself.
On the one hand, we live in a capitalist system, and you can't escape that. You have to operate in that.
Yeah.
So you need to make money as a band, especially you don't want to be losing money for your art all the time. It's okay to lose money for your art here and there, but you got to live in our society.
Yeah, that is the reality kind of thing. Is there any tour stories that you can think of that were really, really crazy that you'd want to share? And do you have a favorite place to play in the U.S. or anywhere else that you've played?
Oh, that's hard. I don't know if I have any really crazy tour stories. I do have a kind of funny one from when Pavel played in Tijuana, Mexico.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was 2017, I think, or actually it must have been winter 2016.
Okay.
And we just played a hotel bar right across the border. Nothing crazy, but when we were coming back across, we left all of our gear in the States before we went over, because we just didn't want to have to deal with them trying to search all of our shit on the way back and have a really long delay.
Yeah.
Coming through American Customs. A couple of us didn't have our passports on us. We just had birth certificates, which obviously you're not supposed to do anymore. It's been a long time since that was okay.
News to me.
Yeah, right. But we're like, hey man, what are you gonna do? You're already here. The guy's like, you should have waited until you got your passport before you went on your trip. And we're like, oh, it's too late, man.
Yeah. Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah, right. But so they're going around opening all the doors of our van. It's empty except for like my kick pedals and my snare and like one guitar, one bass, and some effects pedals. Mm-hmm. So they've been questioning us, and they're obviously frustrated with us to begin with because we don't all have our passports.
Yeah.
And so they open the side door, and Todd, our bassist, is asleep at the time. And it wakes him up. He's not wearing a shirt. I think he had his passport though. But the guy looks him in the eyes and says to Todd, "Is there any weed in the vehicle?" And Todd looks at him and goes, "Shouldn't be." And I'm like, "That's not."
God damn it!
Yeah. You're just supposed to say no.
He's groggy, you know.
You caught him unaware.
Yeah.
So, not that crazy. We got away fine. He ended up not even really searching us anymore because obviously the van was pretty much empty to begin with, besides a few sleeping bags.
Well, it's also when you wake up like a unsuspected Todd and he says that, you got to imagine he's a truthful guy.
Yeah, right. He's not going to lie. He's truthful Todd.
Yeah, there shouldn't be, and there wasn't. So.
Yeah, so and then there was none. So he was like, shouldn't be. We smoked it all on the way down. But that's kind of funny experience on tour.
Yeah.
Favorite place to play, though? There's a lot of really great places to play, but one place that I think about playing a lot was Miami. I've only ever played there once, but I had a really great experience. A lot of bands choose not to go all the way down to Miami, especially smaller bands, because it's a trip. If you're coming down from Atlanta and you don't want to play anywhere, it's like 10 or 12 hours just getting down by car.
Damn.
All the way down the peninsula. So we did that once. We had to play we had to play 4 total shows in Florida just to be able to make Miami work, but we had a really great time every single gig we played in the state. Everybody was super nice. They put on good gigs for us and super fun. So Miami, if you're a touring DIY underground band, go play Miami.
Well, hell yeah, man. Is there any bands, I would imagine there would be big bands, not small bands, but that you'd like to take a moment to throw shade to? You don't even have to name names.
Yeah, I mean, there's a million bands like that. I've tried to become less of a hater as I get older, just because it's not an attractive thing as an adult man. All adult men should heed that advice.
Yeah.
It's better to be fun. But I'm known for being a hater. I know anybody who knows me who's watching this is like, yeah, right, buddy. If I had to pick one band, man, the band. It's Squala Grind, dude.
Oh, God.
Get me off of this plane, because there's going to be turbulence.
Oh, damn. Name drop.
This sweet, sweet cleans that they're doing now, the cool metalcore riffs that are just all open note.
I haven't even taken the time to really listen to the new stuff, but I'm not surprised that they've gone down kind of like a clean rabbit hole.
Yeah. It's like, well, every time you burn a bridge in a scene, you've got to reinvent your sound. And I think now they've finally gotten to like mid-aughts metalcore.
There's kind of a resurgence with like new metal and stuff, and a part of me thinks it's interesting and could be good overall. Maybe Esquila's kind of taken a page out of that book, you know,
looking at the new metal resurgence.
Yeah.
I don't know. Young kids are definitely into some cornier bands these days, but
Yeah.
I was into corny bands too when I was
totally.
a teen.
I like tons of corny bands.
Yeah, I mean, I still think Roots by Sepultura is a good record.
Yeah.
So.
I would back that up. Like, I'm not, you know, it's still Max Cavalera.
Yeah,
know,
right.
So.
No, and I fuck with that record.
Yeah.
Like, we just deal with so much exhausting bullshit culture war stuff on the daily now
Yeah.
that I'm like less willing to push it in my personal friendships in a way.
It's kind of like the last place.
Yeah, especially because the cultural war stuff we deal with in the mainstream media is so asinine and completely inane that I'm just fucking done with that shit.